All right, so first of all, just huge shout out to all of those who watched and liked my YouTube shorts and all my videos up to this point. And shout out to those 60 people who have decided to subscribe. Love you lots. So, especially a huge shout out to the Lakers fans who got my YouTube short to 7 whole likes. So, this video is for you 7 because I said the most liked YouTube short. That team will get a video dedicated to them. And today we're going to be talking about the Los Angeles Lakers and their championship history. We're going to be taking a look at each of their championship seasons and why there might be potential for the championship in the near future. The Lakers, dating back to their days in Minnesota, have been one of the most successful franchises in the entire NBA. Their 17 championships is second only to the Boston Celtics' 18. And 5 of these came in what I call the Mikan era. George Mikan was an absolute superstar in the 40s and 50s, leading the Lakers to those 5 championships. In those years, he averaged well over 20 points per game in almost each season. And second in scoring over those 5 years, averaged 14.3 points per game, nearly 10 less per game than George Mikan. This isn't to say that George Mikan was playing with scrubs, just that he was a head above everyone else. And that happened both figuratively and literally, as he stood at about 6'10" or 6'11". He played with multiple Hall of Famers though, so he sure wasn't without help. After a long drought of championships, thanks in large part to the Boston Celtics and their superstar Bill Russell, in 1971-72, the Los Angeles Lakers went 69-13 in the regular season and 12-3 in the postseason, leading to a total win percentage of 83.5%. This year, not only did they post the best winning percentage, they also were led by some absolute legends. Gail Goodrich was their leading scorer, both in the regular season and postseason, while Jerry West was just behind him and led the team in assists. Elgin Baylor, who is also a Hall of Famer, only played in 9 games this season, and they were all regular season, not appearing at all in the postseason. Wilt Chamberlain, while he was well past his prime, was still the Finals MVP for this team. He averaged over 19 rebounds per game during the playoffs. Less than a decade removed from their previous championship, they won it again in the 1979-80 season. This started a run where they won 5 championships in the 1980s. In the 79-80 season, they were led by MVP Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who averaged nearly 32 points per game in the playoffs. But he didn't even win the Finals MVP. That hardware went to rookie Magic Johnson. The two weren't alone, however. They were joined by Jamal Wilkes, who averaged more than 20 points per game in the playoffs. 2 years later, they won another championship with similar results. Kareem had taken a step back, but Magic had taken a step forward, winning his second Finals MVP. He averaged 18.6 points per game, 9.6 rebounds per game, 9.5 assists per game, and a crazy 2.7 steals per game in their playoff run. They also had Norm Nixon and Jamal Wilkes, both putting up 20 points per game in the playoffs as well. In 84-85 season, they got another running mate. Magic was still balling, averaging 15.2 assists per game in their playoff run. Kareem was still balling, winning their Finals MVP. And James Worthy, their new third man, averaged 21.5 points per game in the playoffs. A couple years later, in the 1986-87 season, they had their second best total win percentage, going 65-17 during the regular season and 15-3 in the postseason, posting an 80% win percentage. They were led by Magic Johnson, who was both the MVP and Finals MVP this season. James Worthy put up a very respectable 23.6 points per game in the playoffs, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was still very effective despite being 39 years old at this point. The real X factor this year was Michael Cooper, who had developed into the Defensive Player of the Year. And in the playoffs, he went off, averaging 13 points per game, on 48.6% shooting from 3. The very next season, they repeated. They went 62-20 in the regular season, but only 15-9 in the postseason. After a first-round sweep against the San Antonio Spurs, each of their next 3 series went to Game 7. They luckily won all 3, resulting in another championship. Again, they had Magic Johnson, who was still balling, coming 3rd in MVP voting. And Kareem was still successful despite being 40 years old. He was still an all-star. But the big storyline this year was Byron Scott, who led the team with 21.7 points per game in the regular season. The real story, however, was how James Worthy was the Finals MVP this year. In the playoffs, he averaged 21 points per game, nearly 6 rebounds per game, 4.5 assists per game, 1.5 steals per game, and nearly a block per game. The Goggles could not be stopped. The next section was the three-peat. In 2000, 2001, and 2002, the Lakers won back-to-back-to-back championships. In the 1999-2000 season, they went 67-15 during the regular season and 15-8 in the postseason. This was good for a total 78.1% win percentage. This season, they were led by MVP and Finals MVP Shaquille O'Neal, who averaged nearly 31 points per game and over 15 rebounds per game in the playoffs. They also had a young Kobe Bryant, who averaged more than 21 points per game and a block and a half and a steal and a half in the playoffs. The big storyline here was that they didn't have much help. Glenn Rice was the only other player on this team to average double digits. That goes both for the regular season and the postseason. The next season, the 2000-2001 season, while they took a step back in the regular season record, going just 56-26, they went 15-1 in a dominant postseason run. Again, they were led by their two-headed monster of Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant, although Kobe was pulling much more weight this year. Shaq still averaged his 30 and 15 in the playoffs, but Kobe jumped from 21 points per game to about 29.5 points per game. He also averaged over 7 rebounds and 6 assists per game, while still keeping up 1.6 steals and 0.8 blocks per game in the playoffs. The big story this year was Derek Fisher. Derek Fisher averaged over 13 points per game on over 50% from 3 during the playoff run. The very next season, they had another great year, going 58-24 in the regular season and 15-4 in the postseason. Again, they were led by Shaq and Kobe. Shaq averaged 28.5 points per game and nearly 13 rebounds per game during the playoffs, en route to a Finals MVP. And Kobe kept balling out, averaging nearly 27 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, 5 assists per game, a steal and a half per game, and a block per game in the playoffs. The next couple of championships came with the Lone Mamba. In the 2008-2009 season and 2009-2010 season. In the 2008-2009 season, they went 65-17 during the regular season and 16-7 in the postseason, good for a total win percentage of 77.1. This season was dominated by Kobe Bryant, who was easily the Finals MVP, averaging over 30 points per game, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and nearly 2 steals and a block per game during their postseason run. He did have some help, however. Pau Gasol was the star for them, averaging over 18 points per game, nearly 11 rebounds per game, 2.5 assists per game, nearly a steal per game, and 2 blocks per game. This year also included a couple of admirable performances during the playoffs by some under-the-radar guys. Lamar Odom averaged about 12 points per game on over 50% from 3, and Trevor Ariza, on nearly 48% from 3, averaged 11 points per game. They both also played very valuable defense for the Lakers. The very next season, they went 57-25 during the regular season and 16-7 during the postseason. Again, Kobe Bryant was Finals MVP, putting up crazy stats. 29 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, 5.5 assists per game, 1.3 steals per game, and 0.7 blocks per game for his playoff stats. He was again helped by Pau Gasol, who actually took a step forward. averaging nearly 20 points per game, 11 rebounds per game, 3.5 assists per game, and over 2 blocks per game. They didn't, however, have the big performances shooting from Lamar Odom and Trevor Ariza that they had the season before. The final championship that we have to talk about is from the bubble. In the 2019-2020 COVID-shortened season, the Lakers went 52-19 in the regular season and 16-5 in the postseason in the bubble to win a championship. They were obviously led by LeBron James, who averaged nearly 28 points per game, 11 rebounds per game, 9 assists per game, and a steal and a block per game, en route to his finals MVP. They also had superstar Anthony Davis, averaging nearly 28, 10, 4, 1, and 1 as well. He was a dominant piece alongside LeBron, which was much needed as many of the other players didn't make much of an impact. And lastly, I want to talk about the future, because while they got knocked out in just 5 games by the Timberwolves this year, I think their future is quite bright. They went 50-32 last year, showing that they can easily get to the playoffs again this year. In the 5 games of the 2025 playoffs, LeBron James put up over 25 points per game, 9 rebounds per game, nearly 6 assists per game, 2 steals per game, and nearly 2 blocks per game. All this while being 40 years old. While you might expect a drop-off with how old he is, he's still clearly playing at an elite level, and he doesn't need to be the number 1 option for the Lakers anymore. Last year, the Lakers made a blockbuster move to acquire Luka Doncic in what many called a very lopsided win for the Lakers. Luka, in the 5 playoff games that he spent with the Lakers, averaged over 30 points per game, 7 rebounds per game, nearly 6 assists per game, and he had led the Mavericks to the finals the previous year. He looks to build on this, especially getting back in shape this summer, and dominate for the Lakers next year. They also have some young, promising pieces that could possibly step up and take the role of a Michael Cooper or Derek Fisher and ball out in the playoffs en route to another championship season. Players that could include Austin Reeves, who averaged over 20 points per game last year, or Rui Hachimura, who averaged 15 points per game on 48% three-point shooting in the 2025 playoffs. This could also include newly acquired center DeAndre Ayton, who has averaged over 16 points per game in his career.
If you have watched until this point, then let me know down below which of these teams was your favorite, and if you think like I do that the Lakers might be in serious title contention soon. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and let me know what topic you want me to talk about next. Thanks so much. Bye.